Hi, everybody.
Welcome to your morning cup
With iBenz Academy.
I'm Ashley.
And I'm Kara. And today we are sitting in a beautiful snowy morning in the Olympic Peninsula in the dead of winter. Maybe it's summer where you're at. We've got our warm cups of coffee. And today we're going to be reflecting on this past year.
2021 in review.
Wow, it's been such an amazing year, right?
It has. There's so much that's come about this year. So, how did 2021 start for us this year?
Wow, a whirlwind.
It really was. Oh my gosh.
Whirlwind.
Yeah.
So good, though. So good. So in end of 2020, Inelia Benz had announced on Walk With Me Now that she was going to be running a workshop on how to become an instant manifester. And I think she announced that in like October, November or something.
And it was invitation to Walk With Me Now members only.
Yeah. And pretty much right when she announced it, it started.
Yeah, pretty much. I think we were like, you might have been the first or second person to sign up. I was like,
yeah.
Definitely like the third or fourth, and it was like, yep,
take my money.
Let's go.
Yes.
Doing it.
Yeah, and it started immediately. So by January...
Yeah, she's like, it's in January. We're like, oh, sweet. Okay, we got time to prepare and get ready. And then it was like,
no.
All right, get working. Here you go.
Yep, take 20 classes, do it now. And that was just before it even began. So, but we had to have all that foundational work. Mm-hmm. Otherwise, we wouldn't have gone as far as we did. So,
well, it was also incredible. So part of the prep work for the workshop was revisiting all of these courses. And these 20 odd courses, we've done them all, which is amazing. Yeah. But it also was really cool experience to revisit, go back to it. And we were working with everybody else who had signed up for the workshop, and we were kind of doing it together in a way, right? So sharing insights or challenges and help just like have that motivation and that group energy behind it. You feel really like fueled to keep going, because that's a lot of work. And those aren't like messing around classes. It's not like, oh, I just listened to this hour-long course and that was nice. It's like, okay, now also do the work.
Yeah. Rules of engagement, decoding the matrix.
Yeah.
Limitations. Why do we have them?
Ascension 101.
Yeah.
Mind blown. Ah.
Yeah, actually doing it, right? Like sitting down with pen and paper, making the list, doing the meditations in it.
So that's how we came into the end of 2020 and then into 2021 was in that energy, which was really cool.
It was. And doing it together as a group, like you said, that was a game changer. Like I had never done Ascension 101 with a group or decoding the matrix. Mm-hmm. And I mean, there were some study groups on Walk With Me Now at that time, but this was like, take 15 classes in 3 months, go, like it was intense, almost like a, running full steam ahead, but it was great. And when we started January, there were 2 events that had just happened. I think one, Inelia had released the, what was it? Manifestation and Sexual Power class.
Yeah.
Is that what it's called?
I believe so.
Sex and Manifestation, something like that. We'll link it in the show notes. And then, so that was a companion class to the workshop prep. And then another optional class, and just, while we're doing all these other classes, was she hosted a wealth creation class in Second Life. And this was really the beginning of what is now known as All One City in Second Life. But it was a class that Inelia hosted for Walk With Me Now members on how to use Second Life as a feeling board for wealth generation, wealth creation. And wow, that in of itself is an amazing class.
Right. And with the Instant Manifestation group, a lot of us were experiencing firewalls in the homework prep work of like opening new wealth lines and clearing wealth lines, things like that. So this was such a great way to start to take steps into bringing that into this like 3D experience and doing it in Second Life. So you could create a store in the Way of Allen city and that store could host whatever it is that you're trying to manifest in real life. And so that became such a cool experience because you can go through the process of coming up with the name, creating a logo. What is it you want to like? What do you want that space to feel like? And it could even just be, it's not a storefront. It could be, this is where you consult people in your business, or maybe partnering up with others. We had a bunch of groups grow from that too once we created the Way of Awen City.
Yeah, everything from Guild of Gaia to there's like a movie theater and
and lots of art groups and mystical groups and
so it really, this idea of wealth creation in Second Life became so much more, right? And Inelia has taught Second Life, using Second Life as a feeling board in a lot of ways. There's a very proactive group on Walk With Me Now that uses Second Life. We actually spend some time talking about it in great depth in the Instant Manifestation workshop. And it's really powerful. It's a low risk, low stakes way of feeling out what you want and seeing if it works. If it doesn't, you can just delete it. It's fine.
I remember one of the biggest mind-blowing experiences that I had in paradigm shifting, experiences I had with Second Life was being able to just buy what you want, because whatever it is that you want is probably like pennies in Linden when you convert it. Like pennies in an American dollar converted to Linden is like super cheap, and you could have this new Ferrari, let's say, or this gorgeous $1 billion home in real life that is in Second Life, and then you get to feel what is it like in some way to experience that, having that Ferrari and driving that Ferrari with your friends, or having that $1 billion home, or even just that new beautiful dress or outfit, whatever it is. And that, to me, being able to do that without any type of feeling of buyer's remorse or guilt, or all those things that we sometimes, some of us, have tied to spending money, and especially large quantities of money. It was a really great experience to get to start to map to what is it like to spend money without hesitations, without regrets, without guilt, without any of the low frequency programs tied to it, because it wasn't actually a big cost, but the reward in it is really great. And that has actually really transformed, even just by that experience, has transformed me, my experience now if I spend money. It's so much more enjoyable. So it's, it was a cool way to create those mouth lines, and also that's creating that circuit of that chi exchange of being able to receive and give money and allow that to flow naturally.
Yeah, it's such a good point. The feeling of chi exchange and completing the circuit. Isn't it $1,000 Linden dollars is $1 or $5 or something? So it's I'm gonna go spend $1,000 on a dress.
And I want to know what it feels like to live on the beach. I want to live in the mountains. I want a house in Paris. And you can have that experience.
And it's so easy to change your mind. Change your experience of what you want to experience, like that.
Yes.
And no biggie. So, Second Life, Wealth Generation class, that was January 6th or something. We were off to a great start. And that was amazing co-creation just in that class. But it also, again, really helped lay the foundation for the Instant Manifestation workshop, the first one that happened physically at the Shaman Shack. And just for some context, this was, still in lockdown or whatever coronavirus stuff was happening, and it took a lot of work for us just to meet physically and to bust through firewalls and to make it happen. But we did. A lot of us did. I think, how many people did we have total? 13 or something who were there physically. And it was a 10-day event.
And 4 in Europe.
Yeah, 4 in Europe. 10-day event at the Shaman Shack, and it was intense.
Holy smokes, yeah.
We've been to some retreats in our day, but this was not
a workshop.
This was not a retreat. It was work.
We worked.
Yes.
We worked, for sure.
We definitely worked.
Yeah. And there was a lot of ego processing happening.
Full-on crashes.
Yeah.
But it was an amazing transformative week and a half. Because even when we began on the first day, we had spent months preparing for even just that to happen. And I don't think nearly as many of us would have even made it physically had we not done that pre-work ahead of time.
Oh, for sure. I think you're right. I think there were so many like opportunities that if there was a firewall or if there was a block to being able to attend, there's lots of great reasons.
Yes, lots of reasons.
Lots of great stories were available to set those blocks.
Yep. Yeah. But that work had to happen, because if you're doing this level of work of seeding the matrix or instantly manifesting items in your life, you gotta know the foundations of how this stuff works. And that's why we have prerequisite classes for the workshop and why we spent 3 months preparing, because it's hard to, instantly manifest when you don't know the rules of engagement, for example, or even what manifestation is.
Or what low frequency programs you might have operating that you're just unconscious to and haven't addressed. And then that gets seeded into all of your manifestations, right?
Yes.
And if that makes you nervous, it's okay. Through the Instant Manifestation Workshop, you learn to work through those nerves of having that ability and that power to instantly manifest, but consciously in high frequency way.
Yep, exactly. And learning how to spot them and process them and knowing, is it a program you want to keep or not, and all the ins and outs of that is super important so that we do it consciously.
And I think a common thread that we found a lot of times in looking at, well, why hasn't this thing, I wanted to manifest this for so long, whatever it is, right? A house or the job or the relationship. And I haven't done it, right? I haven't done it. I wanted it for so long. I did all these things. And it's like, well, why not?
Yeah.
Well, that's the opportunity through the workshop to figure out why not. And then sometimes it comes up that, well, and why not is because it's not really what you wanted, or because you have these other things happening that, or these other programs running, or these other manifestations or co-creations that are happening that won't allow that to manifest in your life.
Yeah, it's a really effective formula or algorithm or recipe or whatever to look at, do you really want to manifest this thing?
Yeah.
And if you do, you go through all the steps.
And here's what you can do to manifest it.
Yeah, and it works.
It does.
It works.
For sure.
We've had some amazing case studies and co-creations and manifestations that have come of it. One of my personal favorites being the fossil beach manifestation. Do you want to share more about that with the group?
Well, in the Instant Manifestation Workshop, we had items that we were manifesting individually, but we also had items we were manifesting as a group, because we all know, and you've probably heard us say many times, listeners, that being in a group is more powerful for us. It's more of our natural state in the human collective, being connected and collaborating. So we came up with some manifestation items as a group, and one of those items was to have land together, right? And in this, with the Fossil Beach project, basically we after the workshop, we had an opportunity come up to purchase land at a really great deal. And this was on the Olympic Peninsula. And we brought it to the Instant Manifestation Workshop attendees from the Shaman Shack and our crew in Europe as well. And opened it up. Who's interested? Who wants to be a part of this manifestation? So as we opened it up for those who were interested, who wanted to help create and put the chi, like the finances towards it, put the energy to working with a realtor or coming up with our rules of engagement, if you will, operating agreement amongst the group. We all came together and collaborated on it, and then we're able to successfully purchase the land, which is 48 acres, right? Beachfront property, forest land. And now we've been operating as co-owners of this land, and we're still in the now phase of figuring out, okay, what do we want to do next? How do we want to create this? What's our vision long term? So it's been a really fun experience, and we're actually doing some more work around that too in the near future to go with the new year energy.
Yeah, and it's amazing how this project really demonstrates the feeling of our strength is your strength and your strength is our strength. Because I don't know about you, but I don't think I could have by myself purchased 48 acres of land and known what to do with it, and even just buying it, right? It was hundreds of thousands of dollars. But when you got 10 people who all have clear energy lines and are instant manifestors, that helps a lot too. We were all alumni from the group, or supported the workshop and its co-creation and making it happen. We were able to pool our resources together in a way where all of a sudden it's like, oh, I don't have to come up with $350,000 or $500,000. It's like, oh, if there's, divide by 10, it's, much more manageable. I can do that. Mm-hmm. And then it's so much easier and more exciting too.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's really cool to see, especially in the beginning, because we were in a bit of a time crunch, right? Like the real estate market is booming. There's a lot of action and things are happening fast. And we knew it wouldn't stay on the market for long term. And we're trying to get ourselves organized. And every time like this, like a firewall would pop up for somebody, it would pop up in the group. You'd see it. More than one person would have the same firewall and reactions would start happening, right? And so rather than responding, people would react. But then at the same time, then after the reactions would come out, you could see that all of a sudden everyone would start responding to those reactions and they would see it for themselves. They've done all this work already through the Instant Manifestation Workshop, that the firewalls were getting resolved like super fast. And I think that's also that group energy. So it's like once everyone is in that place doing their work, staying responsible, and having the tools, knowing the iBenz method tools to be able to utilize and put to action, it really just helped to smooth everything out. And we were able to come over like so many hurdles through the process. They were just simple in the end. And maybe in retrospect, in the moment, it might have felt like big mountains, but we were able to come over it on the other side just so well and cohesive. We're still super cohesive as a group.
Yeah, we haven't even owned it for a year and it feels like we've done so much, and I'm really excited about what's to come too. I think it's going to be a great year.
I agree.
So it just shows the power of awake, empowered, high frequency individuals coming together and co-creating as a group and manifesting as a group and sharing the intent as a group. Like stuff gets done.
Right. And all of this too is with that energy of like, okay, well, what do you want in the new paradigm? Right? What do you want to experience in the new paradigm? And something like Fossil Beach for us is a way to experience having this community space, this like, and not just to visit, right? Not just to take a retreat at, but like to live and to co-create that space. And maybe it's, having a food forest and neighborhoods and, rental units or who knows what, right? Like there's so many options, but being able to consciously be a part of that creation and not moving into something that was already created in the past. It's like we have that blank slate now, which is really exciting.
Yeah. And it feels like an experiment of not only embodying the new paradigm, but experimenting what intentional community looks like and feels like in the new paradigm, and figuring out how to work together too. We've adopted the sociocracy model, and we've been somewhat successful at using it. We're not like super good at it yet, but we're learning a lot. We read some books, we've been doing research, we had sub-circles form, and now we're, getting back into it and reintegrating a lot of those methodologies and trying new ones. But at the core of it, it's that feeling of how do high frequency lone wolves work together as a group and do something really cool and inspiring, like play with this land and co-create amazing experiences with it. So there's still so much more to come. But if you had asked me in January, like, Kara, Ash, did you know that you're going to buy 48 acres with 8 other people in March or May or whatever it was? It's like, are you kidding me? No way.
No. It's funny because even at the workshop, at the Shaman Shack, we had talked about buying land together, but it was even like, it was maybe 10 acres?
Yeah, I think so.
Something like that.
Yeah.
But as we started talking about it, I remember there was that feeling of this is too small. Like, we're not going to be able to do anything with that. Like, we can't all have a house and community space and and 48 acres. We're like, what are we going to do with all this? It's amazing. And we'll probably buy more.
Yep. Yeah, it's been such a fascinating case study, because even in the workshop, we do talk about that parcel of land of, oh, yeah, it might be interesting to buy that. And then in hindsight, now looking at it, it's like we did take that group item, put the tools to use, ran with it, and here we are.
And when was it that we made the purchase? April?
I think it was, it signed the papers in May, yeah.
Okay, so, I mean, it wasn't instantly at the snap of a finger, but that was not the expectation of acquiring land for us. The believable story and for it all to come together, I mean, from January completing the workshop to May is pretty freaking awesome.
It was impossible. Like, from January of 2021, it was impossible to do that. And we made the impossible possible. And so that's where I think these tools are just so exciting and to learn about and implement. And the more that people use them, the more powerful we become too. Because then in July of 2021, we had started the online version of the Instant Manifestation Workshop. We call it IMW2. And this was our first iteration of the workshop hosted and facilitated by iBenz Academy. And wow, that was amazing too. We had 18 people, I think, and people all around the world, not every time zone. And it's just been incredible what that experience was like too. So second workshop mid-year.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
Yeah. And such an amazing group of people too, because I feel like, you know, the first workshop really helped laid the foundation for, like, the students laid the foundation for kind of like, it feels like almost like trudging through the fresh snow or the trenches of, like, yeah, exactly, like paving the way to do the work and start connecting as a group. And then the Instant Manifestation 2 group, oh my gosh, they're building foundations now to not only collaborate as that workshop, but expand that collaboration for all alumni to start co-creating together with other instant manifestors. And it's incredible, again, just like where you see the kind of the evolution of the group and the manifestations, and then the ease that it starts, even more ease comes through that next iteration of the workshop.
Yeah, and people's lives have totally transformed. I mean, from moving state or moving country to, you know, getting a new job or new type of work or starting their own business, or even just going forward in their current life with eyes wide open. Like, it's been so powerful, and there's been a lot of focus on, you know, increasing wealth lines, but also focusing on items that money can't buy, like better relationships, how to operate in the high frequency paradigm experience, and co-creating as a group, and buying land, like all of these things. It's just been amazing to see what the alumni have done already. And we're just getting started.
Yeah. And the connections that are made. Right, like the Instant Manifestation Workshop is now, the first one has been complete almost a year and still very active and engaged in co-creating on manifestations even now.
Yep.
And then the Instant Manifestation 2 group, they've been complete for just about a month or so. And where the follow-ups, all of our kind of follow-up check-ins are complete, and they're still connected. They're still actively working together, manifesting together, working on through programs together, like, and helping to, like, just have that energy as a group to be successful. And there's a lot of room in it too, where I've seen there's different interest groups, right? Like how I mentioned with the Instant Manifestation 1 group, there's focus, the focus to have Fossil Beach was more resonant at that time, right? Where for others, it wasn't feasible. It wasn't where their focus was. So there's that room to be able to, not just because you've all been in the workshop together, you have to manifest everything together, but it's that room to like, where are you interested? What are you interested in? Where's your focus right now? And being able to be fluid in that. So you see a lot of different subgroups building within each workshop group.
Yeah. And it's having that group energy and dynamic to work with is so powerful, because like you said, not everyone wanted to jump in and buy land, but the people who didn't necessarily like pool in their resources or time or money were still cheering along the way and being great allies and cheerleaders and supporting that intent. And that is super powerful too, because our strengths are strength, and it's really hard to, well, it's almost, for me personally, I struggle to express the group dynamic and the power that it holds and the impact it can have in our lives, because it is life-changing. It is life-changing, because the group we co-created back in end of 2020 and then through January and now here, it's like it's a powerful group of people that I can't imagine my life with now, or without now. And that's something that energy, that group dynamic of having a tribe, an entourage, knowing that other people get it and can do this work together. I mean, it's just so life-changing.
Yeah, agreed. And it's funny thinking about the Instant Manifestation Workshop, the first one, and Inelia sets it up, and part of the reason like the price point on the workshop is high is it's a filter. I mean, this is like, if you are committed, if you've done work on your wealth lines, if you're willing to do that work and continue it forward, like this is a course or a workshop that will be good for you, because it does require that commitment. And it's funny, when she posted the invitation for this workshop on Walk With Me Now, I was like, yes, absolutely. And I looked at the cost. I was like, okay, I don't have that money, but I'm going to have it. Yes. Okay. I'm in, whatever. I'll figure it out. It'll happen. And, really even just that commitment, I had money come in different ways that I wasn't actually expecting. And before I know it, I was like, oh, here we go. I got it. So for the workshop, it was ready and I was in. Same with Fossil Beach. It was a similar experience. I was like, okay, I'm not going to pass up on buying land with these amazing people and having this experience for intentional community. It's something I wanted for a long time. And I don't know how I'm going to pay for it, but I'm going to figure it out. It's going to come together. And it was that same thing. It was just that knowing and that commitment, and boom, it's all come together.
Exactly. That's the energy that's so powerful and life-changing. It's like, I don't have it all figured out now. I'm not quite sure how it's going to come together, but dang it, I'm doing it. And you did it. Yeah. We did it.
Oh, and my wealth line since too, I can say, at least for like the $5,000 to attend, I think it was, right, for the Instant Manifestation 1 workshop, has like come back tenfold for sure. And I know it's just going to continue, because I'm continuing the work personally. So I know that's going to continue to grow. So it was an investment, really. It's like, buying something to know that it's going to just keep growing in your life and expanding your abundance, your chi, your ability to manifest in a conscious, high frequency way.
Absolutely. And it like you said, the filter, it's such a good way of scrubbing away your programs and firewalls to get busy, get doing, the co-creating the new paradigm. Because I mean, there's so many reasons not to. There's so many ways to limit ourselves, and that's fine. There's no judgment if you want to do that in a conscious way or unconscious way. But when I saw the opportunity come up, I was like, I can't say no to this. Like, this is, I just knew it was going to be life-changing. I didn't fully understand then how life-changing.
Yeah.
But it is, and it was. And even like the time commitment, like we had spent months preparing with these basic foundational classes. The event itself was 10 days. The online version is spread out over time, because so it's not as like condensed in a week and a half. It's spread out over 2 months when it comes to calls and doing the labs. But then it continues 3 months after that as well. So honestly, it's almost like a 6-month time commitment.
Yeah.
But if you want to like supercharge your life or clear out the crap that you're done with, or, you want to fix or address something or change something, but you're not quite sure what yet or how to do it yet, like, this is it.
Yeah.
This is the believable story to helping you really step up in your power and manifesting the life you want to live.
Right. Yeah, because it's not just that 6-month time commitment feels, for me, it felt big at the time, right? The 2-month preparation or 3-month preparation and the 10-day workshop, like in person, all those at the time felt really big, but it's really like a lifetime journey. Mm-hmm. That's the thing. And it's not even just, examples of chi that we've talked about and manifesting, but it's also the a manifestation of what money can't buy, mm-hmm. right? And those connections and that empowerment and that ability to mystically infuse what it is you're trying to manifest in the world, and working with elements and working with the human collective. And that, to me, is also something that you can't just like drop in a way. It's like, mm-hmm. once you know it, and you can continue to play with that in everything that you do in your life.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. It's a way of stepping up and embodying the new paradigm and being that leader. And, we do have some foundational classes too that go into a lot of great depth about that as well. Like the emergency lecture series is looking at how to step up during the split.
Yep.
Right. And that's really important too, because the split is in our faces. But the instant manifestation workshop feels like an extension of that into every area of life, every area. And then once you do that work, then we realize, oh, it's actually not about us. It's about like us.
Yeah, for sure.
The human collective, the planet, the experience.
Oh my gosh. And then the emergency lecture series. So we just started the emergency lecture series community edition, where before we had released the emergency lecture series, but it was very much the lone wolf version, right? And we were probably still a bit more lone wolfy. Yep. We're learning to step out of that. So now we're helping to facilitate that course with Inelia, or that lecture series with Inelia, and it's amazing. Every time I tap into the energy and to like the chat group, it's just like, I don't know, it feels so incredible, because there's like 51 people who are all just, from different walks of life all over the world, and embodying this high frequency new paradigm. And it feels so good to be connected and to have a face and a name, and like other folks who are in the same boat. Mm-hmm. Like, we're all doing this together, and it's just inspiring, the energy the group's created. I love it.
It really is. And again, when we learn as a group, we can expand on topics in so many different ways. Like, we have a bunch of parents in our student group, and it's been amazing to see, the questions coming up about like, how do we teach kids in the new paradigm? And there's a whole lecture about that. Mm-hmm. But even just the questions that come up with it, and the sharing of experiences and stories and practices, it's like, wow, this could like spin off to become its own thing, And that's what the series is all about, like stepping up and leading your people and co-creating these new structures with others. And that's what this is you're doing it by participating, by working in that group energy, by learning the tools, informing yourself, and then doing it, right? Implementing it. And it's such an amazing energy to feel every day.
Mm-hmm. And it's so cool to do it knowing that you're doing it with others, because for me, when I've done the emergency lecture series, it's just on my own time, and just, reading through things, watching the videos, doing the follow-up work and the exercises. But it was nice, but it was how I've always done the iBenz method tools in the past, right? But this is so different, because it's like when I'm watching the lectures and doing the meditations and stuff, I'm instantly thinking about everybody else who's watching the lectures and doing these same meditations, and I like tap into that group energy. And again, it just becomes more enlivened through that, like having that group doing the same work. And just there's this other value to it that it adds, of that connection, and knowing that we're doing this together.
Oh my gosh, that I think has been the most valuable part of all of these experiences, whether it's the workshop or the lecture series, because I've been following Inelia's work since 2011 or whatever, and there were many years of listening to classes and not doing anything, like not doing the exercises, maybe one or two here or there, but not really. But it almost, at least for me, feels like there's this accountability that adds structure to doing the work in a way that allows me to go even deeper and more thoroughly into it. Almost like school in a way, but way more fun and interesting. But like the prep work for the workshop, for example, it's like, okay, we have to do Ascension 101 and rules of engagement and decoding the matrix over the next week. Oh God, okay, no, we can do this, we got this. And then we would, message each other and go, I don't know, you guys, this is a lot, it's okay, we got it, we can do this. And it's just that like collaboration, that accountability, and also the support and the cheer.
Or hey, you've gone quiet for a while, what's going on?
Yep, exactly. And it was so much more intense, but powerful as a result, because even sharing our notes from the classes and our experiences and doing it together and following up, it's just the level of depth is so much more impactful, it feels like. And whether it's the lecture series or the workshop, having that structure and doing it with others, it's just amazing. It's nothing like I've ever experienced, at least in the lone wolf side of things. So 2022, looking ahead.
Yes. So it's going to be even better.
It's going to be even better.
I can't wait.
Than 2021.
2021's actually been pretty awesome.
It's been super awesome. And it's like that whole thing of, how's the split going for you, right?
Yeah.
And our experience throughout the year is a good measure of that. But we are really excited for 2022. Because even the number 22 is very auspicious. There was a seed planted to make that a manifestation number. I think it was the Inelia Benz podcast where they talked about, let's manifest a manifestation number.
Yeah.
It's 22.
Yeah, on Driving to the Res.
Yeah, Driving to the Res. And so 2022 is just going to be awesome because of that. But we're really excited at iBenz Academy because we're going to host our third iteration of the Instant Manifestation Workshop. Woo! So, if you missed the boat last year in 2021, join us this time in March of 2022 is when the workshop's going to start. So, if you want to get started now, go to ibenzacademy.com. Visit our landing page for the workshop, and you'll see information about not only how to get started, because there are prerequisites, as we talked about, very important.
And you want to get started early on those.
Yes. You can't wait till the last minute. Don't recommend it.
Yeah, but if you haven't done the courses before, it's a lot to do.
Yeah. And it's really important to do that foundational work. So we want to make sure everyone has enough time to do those prerequisites, but also, if you want to get started sooner than later, then you can. So stay tuned for more details. Go to ibenzacademy.com to learn more about the Instant Manifestation Workshop. We're really excited to officially kickstart it in March, but there's a lot of work to do in the meantime. So it's a new year. It's an amazing time to think about what we want to co-create and experience in the year to come. And this is an amazing opportunity to do it. It's a blueprint on not only how to manifest the high frequency paradigm experience, but also doing it with your tribe, a high frequency group. And honestly, that's stuff money can't buy.
Absolutely. Agreed.
So we're really looking forward to the year ahead. It's going to be awesome. And that's just the first thing that's coming this year. We have a lot of other exciting courses that are coming up in 2022. But we'll have to hear about that in another episode. So thank you for joining us. What an amazing year it's been, 2021. And we're so excited to co-create the next year with you.
Yes, absolutely. Have a great New Year's and see you in 2022.
See you then. Bye.